Hi friends and welcome. Today I have 10 easy patriotic decor DIYs using only a few supplies. You'll find a few free printables over on my blog. We'll be printing those images out on brown paper grocery bags. Be using the dishwasher safe Mod Podge to apply and seal the brown paper bags and printing on them using an inkjet printer. I'd like to thank Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. With the paper bag being a little bit thicker than the tissue paper, I wanted to see if you could decoupage it to a wicker basket. I applied a generous coat of the dishwasher safe Mod Podge to the back of the image as well as onto the basket. Sometimes I find the wicker baskets are the most challenging to decoupage, and this paper bag image adhered beautifully. I did wait for that base coat to dry first, then I applied the Mod Podge right up over the top. So using the same printables, we're making little bowl fillers. You could sew them with a sewing machine. Using a brown paper bag is also a great way to teach kids how to hand sew. However, I did not have that much time, so I'm just using hot glue. Once you glue around the edges, leave a small section about 1.5 inches. And there's your opening, and you can use any type of stuffing that you wish. You can even use the scraps to the brown paper bag. Today I used tissue paper just to make it easy. If you don't want to stuff them, you can always glue a brown paper bag onto the back to cover up any of the advertisement from the grocery bag. And these make beautiful rustic or vintage style gift tags. You can also use them to decorate your tier tray. Once they're stuffed, you can also punch a hole in the top of them and make little hanging ornaments to be able to put on a wreath or on a door display. In addition to today's 10 DIYs over on my blog, you will find 3 more easy paper decor projects. I picked this tray up for $3.99 and I believe I got a 20% discount. When I got it home, I didn't realize that the centerpiece was all bowed out. So I popped that out, applied 2 coats of white chalk paint. If you don't have a tray, you could also use a picture frame. I'm doing a wet distress, and because it was super dry, I did add a little bit of vinegar to help pull the paint back and get a nice age look. For this project over on Canva, I just took a flag and typed some words in the center and printed it out. I created this piece as an 8.5 by 14 and also adjusted the settings on the printer, and it surprisingly worked out well. I originally started this 3-piece project to make a table runner and ended up at the last moment changing my mind, adding a hook, and we're going to use it as a hanger on the door, or you could hang it on the wall. The printed image is a standard sheet of paper, 8.5 by 11. The brown paper bags I cut to an 8.5 by 12. This would allow me to be able to glue each page onto the other to make one continuous piece. Using the Mod Podge, and I had the dishwasher safe Mod Podge out, so I just used this for all the projects that you see today. I did go over the entire project with a coat of the Mod Podge, just so that way the ink will be protected and I can use it year after year. I decided that it needed a tag and some stars, which you will find those as free printables further down in the video. For the hanger, I used the handle off of one of the brown paper bags. You guys know how much I love to make clock images, so I had to do one for the Patriotic holidays. This was a cake pan that I picked up out of a free bin at a yard sale. I am going around with white paint just to even out the edges. I kind of wish that it was just a normal cake pan because that would have looked really nice if you aged it with some vinegar. I think it would have given it a nice vintage look, but that's okay. We're running with this, applying a really thick coat of Mod Podge onto the back of the clock. We're going to place it inside the cake pan. You could put this on a pedestal, add a little bit of greenery onto the bottom and hang it, or use it in an easel. I did apply some of the dishwasher safe Mod Podge up over the top of the image, so you could even use it as a tray. Here I'm adding a little antique wax just so that the white wasn't so bright. I put it on the easel that we upcycled last week. Here, I wanted to use up some of the scraps of paper bags that I had, so I just took a rectangle piece, hot glued it to make a mini bag. And again, you can also use a sewing machine, you can use any type of glue. So here we have a little pocket. These would be so cute to make as little pocket baskets, or you can even have them as little gift bags. I just cut another square piece out using pinking shears. And then I took that image out, put it into the center. And then I cut a small strip of the grocery bag just to put up on the top to give it a little trim. You could even use lace or ribbon or jute twine. I glued on a couple stars up at the side using clothespins to keep some of the paper together before it dried. And then these grocery bags came with really thin handles, and they're great. I cut them all off so we can use them for other projects, and they adhered on here beautifully. These could also be used as place settings and tuck a small gift in for each of your guests. Skillshare is an online community that promotes creativity and learning by offering thousands of classes on topics including illustration, design, photography, video, writing, and much more. You can take classes to level up your current skills, or take classes to relax and learn something new, like my daughter and I did together, taking macrame classes from Megan Chafee. It was easy to follow, and she also offers other classes in macrame. There's also a wide variety of other instructors offering similar classes. The first 1,000 people to use the link in the description box below will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. I still had a few DVDs left over, and I wanted to try the dishwasher safe Mod Podge since so many of you recommended it for our CD coasters that we did on the clock video, and it didn't disappoint. It dried very quickly. I was able to do 2 coats up over the top. I did have a small amount of ink smearing, but nothing major, and it's probably because I didn't wait and let that bottom layer dry first, but I'm really happy with it. Now, it does take some time, it said according to the instructions, to cure. I think it was like 30 days, but I used them like the next day and they were fine. So I want to thank all of you that recommended it to me. So using the same printable that we made the little bags out of, I want to do another set of coasters, especially if you have a lot of guests. This was so super easy. Just printed them, cut them, applied 1 coat of the Mod Podge. I almost thought that it wasn't going to work because as I was applying the Mod Podge, the edges were curling up. But once they were dry, they had enough for the most part. They evened back out. And as you can see here, they actually curled up the other way. I think if you stack them once they're, fully dry, in between something, they would lay flat, but I think all in all, it came out great. Okay, so as I'm editing this, I realized that I did those flags backwards. The second flag should have been created as a reverse image so that the stars would have been touching, but that's okay, it worked. I wanted to create some paper stars to be able to tuck into some plants and flower arrangements. I did go over it with the dishwasher safe Mod Podge just in case they were on the deck and got some water on them from me watering the plants. All I did was fold them over, put some of the Mod Podge inside, and I believe that that's a dowel from the dollar store. And you can use some clothespins to help keep that flat as it dries. And then I evened up the edges with a pair of scissors. Here are the stars from the projects earlier. This bunting was one of the elements over on Canva, and if you type in buntings, you'll see a few different types. I printed 3 of them out that are 11 inches long. I folded over the top and made sure that it covered the string. Used some Mod Podge, put some clothespins on until it dried. Super easy project. Be sure to head over to my blog at Creative DIY Purpose for more patriotic decor and free printables. Friends, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you this Thursday for a bonus video. Thanks and God bless.